Welcome to Falls Count Anywhere, where the wrestling ring meets the heart. Hosted by the gentleman Jody Powell, join us as we dive into the latest pro wrestling news and rumors, from the electrifying world of WWE to the inspiring stories of wrestling for Christ. This is your all-access pass to the action, the faith, and the hope. This is Falls Count Anywhere.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to a very special Falls Count Anywhere. I'm your host, the gentleman Jody Powell. With me, as always, is the mad scientist deep in the Buchanan Laboratory, Mike Buchanan. Mike, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot, Jody. What's up over there in South Carolina?
Oh, man. Gas prices, grocery prices, housing prices. That's all that stuff's up. That's...
Yeah, I'm waiting on the prices to come down like somebody said they would, but I don't want to be political either way.
You know, I'm not going to believe anyone when they say that's going to happen anymore. Prices go up and they tend to not come down. But what everyone really wants to know is what's going on in the lab today, buddy?
Well, I don't know how much you're going to share with our listeners, but in light of something that happened to me recently, I'm working on some kind of self-stabilizing ankle-supporting shoe device. So that way, no matter how you step or misstep in either of our places, because I fell down 3 times last year, it'll give you more support in your foot, in your ankle area if you misstep.
Well, I'll just say that I could have used that a couple of days ago, and that's all I'm going to say.
Fair enough. I know millions of people can use it, especially in our senior population, let's just say.
Oh, man, there's nothing worse than twisting your ankle. Well, there are worse things, but nothing more embarrassing than twisting your ankle.
Wow. Speaking of worse things and embarrassing things, how about that WrestlePalooza thing on Saturday night?
Yes, we haven't had the time to cover WrestlePalooza just because of the way that our recording schedule goes. This is the first time we've been able to record Falls Count Anywhere after WrestlePalooza. I was trying to think of a name that would describe it, but I didn't come up with anything that was decent for airing. But what a train wreck, man. What a disastrous train wreck. I think ESPN is wondering what in the world they've just gotten themselves into, because that was, as you predicted when we were talking about the card for this, that was nothing more than an in your house. That was a weak Saturday night main event. That would have been a standard Raw.
Pretty much.
Was terrible. And let me add, so let's just dive right in, because I've got some things I want to say. You've got the greatest of all time that's who you're billing as the greatest of all time. The man that has defined your company more than anyone, including the red and yellow, according to you, WWE, on his retirement tour, on his final stops of his retirement tour. And here is an opportunity for this GOAT to rectify a wrong from SummerSlam years ago against his formidable foe, this beast. And what do they do, Mike? Squash him. Are you kidding me?
Well, as JR used to say, or Tony Schiavone, in the future, that'll put butts in the seats.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That what that will do is will cause people not to spend the $29.95 a month to get ESPN to watch any of those horrible PLEs. And that was just one of the horrible matches on there. The mixed tag match, I knew it was going to be bad, and it was.
It delivered.
It delivered exactly what I thought it would deliver. Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. Huh? I mean, again, a WrestleMania type feel to this match, only because everybody kept kicking out of everybody's finishers, which I hate. We've talked about that before. Finishers don't become less lethal just because this is your debut on ESPN. What a joke, and what a waste of Drew McIntyre, by the way, who I think right now is probably the best talent that you have on your roster, and you are wasting him. yeah, the best match of the night is was the ladies' title match, which I know brings joy to your heart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then you had Raw, man. What was that? I mean, listen. Here's the thing, Mike. I want you to challenge me on this if you can. Okay, correct me if I am wrong. And I want viewers to do that as well. If you think I'm wrong on this, send us an email. Let me know. Hey, you're dead wrong. But here's the thing that I would say right now, on this very day, the best angle, the best storyline that WWE has throughout, whether it's Raw or SmackDown, is this whole Asuka, Kairi Sane, Rhea, Io Sky thing. That's it.
Oh, come now, Jody. Gentlemen,
give me another one.
Surely you don't think that's better than Jay's Planet Turn? No, it's Jimmy. No, it's Jay. No, it's Jimmy. No, it's LA Knight's Planet Turn. You really think that the ladies are better than that boring triangle? I hear you. I like LA Knight. I like LA Knight a lot. But my boredom, shall we say, with anything Uso is legendary.
Well, it's just, here's what the problem has been is we've been getting the same ending to Raw for like 6 weeks in a row. Some form of the Usos and LA Knight, some mixture of that, being beaten down by Braun and Braun. And that's all it's been. And honestly, the vision of Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Braun and Braun has been a disappointment, not because they're not executing, but because they are executing. They're executing what WWE has written for them. And what is written for them has been two separate splits in stories. And there's nothing for the vision. The great thing about the Bloodline is that it all tied back into one story. It all tied back into one main thing. This doesn't at all. I mean, you've got Seth and Becky over here doing their thing, and now apparently because it's Crown Jewel, it's going to be Seth versus Cody. Okay, but it has nothing to do with the Brawns and the Usos and LA Knight. Paul Heyman's out there just for credibility. I don't know. It's not very credible, and it's not his fault. The creativity there is it's just lacking. It's just lacking. And I don't know. I don't know how it gets better. Go ahead.
Conspiracy theories. We almost wrapped this segment up. It just hit me. What if WWE is not buying another company? What if AEW is going to buy WWE and they're going to start running it? Any hope there?
I doubt it. Just because of the purchase that TKO just made. TKO just bought WWE. I don't think they're looking to offload it. Not that Tony Khan probably doesn't have the money. He probably does. The way AEW is run, he does not have the industry knowledge to be able to pull that off. It would be a disaster if that happened. I honestly, and much like AEW is right now. And I know we don't talk about AEW a lot. I don't watch it a lot, to be perfectly honest with you. It's just hard for me to keep up with because of all the other things that we're keeping up with. But also, for me, it's just hard to follow. I've had a hard time getting into it.
But that's the problem we have with WWE right now is we're having a hard time getting into it.
Well, yeah, and apparently a lot of people are having a hard time getting it, having to pay more, and I don't think that's going to help them any. But I tell you what, something we are going to be keeping track of is a very special guest that we're going to have right after the break with new professional wrestling show coming to Abundant TV this Saturday. You're going to want to stay tuned to hear all about Ephesians Pro Wrestling right after these messages. Hello, wrestling fans. The Gentleman Jody Powell here. Are you searching for an engaging speaker for your next church event, civic meeting, industry conference, or a company-wide motivational session? Well, look no further. I'd be honored to bring energy, insight, and inspiration to your event. With experience as a 2022 Toastmasters World Championship of Public Speaking semifinalist, I know how to connect with audiences, both large and small. Whether it's an intimate gathering or a packed auditorium, I'll deliver a memorable and impactful message tailored to your needs. Visit today at www.jodypowellspeaks.com to explore my keynotes, talks, and trainings. Let's make your next event unforgettable. Book me today. You'll be glad you did. Welcome back, fans, to Falls Count Anywhere. We are excited to have a very special guest joining us from Ephesians Pro Wrestling, EPW, Kyle Pankenine. How are you, Kyle?
I'm good, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Fine.
Man, we are doing great. We are so excited to have you. As fans may know and have heard the announcement, Saturday Night Battleground starting this Saturday night, October 4th at 6 p.m. EPW. Kyle, what can we expect from Ephesians Pro Wrestling?
Well, Jody, let me tell you, this has been a fun experience getting ready, and I can tell you right now that this coming Saturday, the first thing you're going to get to see is really a history of who we are. We're doing a documentary so that all our new viewers can understand who we are, what we do, and what our real purpose is. So we've been working hard on getting that together, and then of course after that you're going to see some old school Texas style hardcore wrestling. That's what we focus on, as we like to do it like the Von Erichs did back at the Sportatorium.
Nice. I can't wait not only to hear the history and to see the documentary, but also can't wait to see some good old fashioned Texas wrestling. It's been missing for a while.
Yeah, a long time.
And Mike, that's right up your alley, brother. That's your
absolutely.
That's kind of your kind of show, isn't it?
The Von Erichs, the Freebirds.
That's it. I'm telling you, and that's and honestly, the arena that we have, we have named it, and it's been named for quite a while. It's the Lordatorium versus the Sportatorium.
Nice.
And so, it's an old metal building just like that, and we bring the people in, and they're up close and personal with us, and we're not afraid to send it to each other. And there's a lot of that, so it's a fun time. A little painful, but fun.
Hopefully it's better air conditioned than the old Sportatorium was, from what I hear.
There was not, but we do have air conditioning now. In a Texas summer, it doesn't keep up well, but we do have air conditioning.
That's a positive for sure. Now, Kyle, tell us a little bit about who we can expect to see on Saturday Night Battleground. Like, who are some of the champions? Who are the stars? I know you probably covered that in the documentary, man, but I want to know who we're going to see.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got 3 champions in our company. Our EPW heavyweight champion is Brixton Shaw. Okay. He comes in from England, so he kind of talks funny, and we make fun of him for that. But he's currently our EPW champion, and currently is the general manager. He's kind of cheated his way that way, but either way, he's getting the right views for the refs. So. Our tag team champions, it's a very interesting dynamic. It is one of our top faces, Hillbilly Outlaw. He also goes by HBO, and one of our top heels that goes by Ryan Hart. And that was actually an accident that happened in a tag team tournament we had. They ended up winning the tag team championship, and so now there's a really big dynamic. They don't like working together, and Ryan Hart has tried his hardest to keep throwing the matches, but HBO doesn't let it happen. So, they are now been dubbed the Heartbreak Outlaw, and Ryan Hart hates that. And he makes sure the fans know that he hates that, but the fans love it. It's crazy. And then we have our Texas Championship, which currently is being held by Kirk Castle. He is a caveman-looking Geico commercial, hairy, long hair, wears his Viking outfit, but he's semi-new to our company, and he's top reign right now on our Texas Championship.
That's awesome. Saturday night, this coming Saturday night, the debut of right. Saturday Night Battleground, Ephesians Pro Wrestling, EPW, right here on Abundant TV, 6 p.m. Kyle, tell us a little bit about behind the EPW behind the Ephesians? I know we're going to talk about it a lot in our next segment, but tell me a little bit about the mission and what you guys are really trying to accomplish through professional wrestling.
Yeah, so we actually are in our 25th year of Christian wrestling ministry. Just last year, we changed our name to, we did a complete brand change. We had a complete swap in leadership, and so we decided to change the name to Ephesians Pro Wrestling. And so this new brand is about a year in the makings, and things are going amazing. We use our gifts of professional wrestling as a tool to bring people in to really share Jesus with them. And so when they come to our show, no matter where we go, you're going to get a testimony from one of our guys or gals now. And then at the end, we always do a gospel presentation and give them an opportunity to respond to that gospel. So, over the 25 years, we've been in 5 countries, 1,400 shows, and really this last year, we have really amped it up to where we're doing 2 shows a month, and things are really, really picking up. And it really is by the grace of God that these things are starting to happen.
That's wonderful. I know you told me a little bit about an upcoming opportunity. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do with the toy drive coming up.
Yeah, so we were contacted just this week, and we are going to now host the Rockwall County, which is the county our facilities in, the Rockwall County Toys for Todd event. They named it, but we like it, Turnbuckles and Toys. So we're going to be doing a wrestling show for our community. And the entry fee to get into the wrestling show is to bring 2 unwrapped toys. So it'll be the official event for that. And then by the love of our community, one of our sponsors just offered us a $2,000 shopping spree. So EPW, and we have an EPW Kids division. We're actually going on a shopping spree to buy toys for this event as well to donate on top of what the people bring.
That is incredible, fans. This is going to be an exciting show. Saturday Night Battleground, Saturday nights at 6 p.m. Ephesians Pro Wrestling, and you're going to see just some good old-fashioned Texas-style wrestling. It's stiff, it's hard-hitting, but you know what? It is also sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ, reaching out to the community. Right there, close to Dallas, Texas. Am I right, Kyle? You're pretty kind of in the suburbs of Dallas. Is that right?
That's correct. We're about 40 miles east of Dallas in Rockwall County, just on the other side of Lake Ray Hubbard. Nice.
Well, fans, when we come back, we're going to talk about a little bit about what Mike and I have been doing for the last 6 or 7 weeks with Finding Tomorrow and going through the armor of God in Ephesians 6, which the Lord has just blessed us with, because Ephesians Pro Wrestling is based on the armor of God in Ephesians 6. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about all of that in our favorite segment, Finding Tomorrow, right after these messages.
Hi, I'm Jeff Dixon, and like many of you, I sit around sometimes and I think to myself, what would I like to watch on TV? Chris Whaley, sitting here with me. You ever had that problem?
All the time, and I have come to a great answer also.
What's your answer?
There's a great show called The Clash.
Wow, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, and guess who are the hosts of that?
I have no idea.
Jeff Dixon and Chris Whaley.
I would love that show if I could get a chance to see it.
Comes on every Monday night on Abundant TV at 7:30.
Now, is that Eastern Standard Time?
Eastern Standard Time.
7:30?
7:30.
Monday night?
On Monday nights here on Abundant TV.
Well, there's the answer then. If you need something to watch,
there
join
it is.
us.
And we'd love to have you.
All right, viewers, welcome back to mine and Rob's, and hopefully our special guest this week, favorite part of the episode. If you've been listening to us for the last several weeks, we finished our first series. And before we started the series on the armor of God, something started happening behind the scenes that we knew nothing about. And tonight is the fruition of it. And just real briefly, because I want this other gentleman to talk, and nobody wants to hear me talk, but finding tomorrow, sometimes you just have to take a step and you're not sure why. You're stepping somewhere you've never been before. So you just step and trust that God has something planned for you. We started a series on Ephesians 6. A couple of weeks ago, Jody told me, Mike, Wrestling for Christ is going its own direction on YouTube, but we have somebody else coming in. I said, who is that, Rob? He said, Mike, it's Ephesians Pro Wrestling. And it just happened last week was our last episode on Ephesians. And now it's my pleasure to reintroduce to you the head of Ephesians Pro Wrestling, Mr. Kyle Pankanine. Kyle, what made you decide to use Ephesians 6 as your new brand?
I'm going to be honest. It was God, but at the time we didn't realize that. So when we decided to do a name brand change, we wanted to make sure we could trademark. And we went through literally a list of 120 names.
Wow.
And they weren't available. And we just kept coming up with things. And Ephesians 6 always spoke to our ministry in and of itself. I actually have the tattoo of the armor of God on my arm, which helped me, and that's a totally different story, but helped me through some PTSD and some struggles that I was facing. And so my wife mentioned Ephesians 6 one time, and we took with that and we started playing with it, and it became obvious that was the name. And so when we submitted that one for trademarking, of course it was available. Now Ephesians Pro Wrestling was available. If you notice in our logo, and it's right behind my head there, you can see the Roman numeral 6. We were able to sneak that into the logo without having that to be a part of the name. So really it was a God thing, but it fits us so much just because, one, we're a wrestling ministry. And so you have wrestling and ministry, and it really focuses, the first focal point is we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but the spiritual and evil forces in this dark world. And that's really where we honed in on and felt that's where we're being called to use as our name.
Kyle, going through and thinking about the armor of God, I mean, and we went through each one: belt of truth, breastplate of righteousness, shoes of readiness, shield of faith, helmet of salvation, sword of the Spirit. Is there something about one of those that God really just kind of impressed upon your heart that kind of helped you through some of that PTSD that you were talking about? Because this segment really is just about that. It's about, what do I need in order to find tomorrow? I want to be here for tomorrow. What is that reasoning? Was there something in Ephesians 6 that really spoke to you specifically?
The thing about it is, when I was going through those struggles, I was running from God. So in that moment, none of that meant anything to me. But that's how I got connected to this ministry, actually. I had no interest in wrestling. I had no interest in that. I had somebody, the former person that ran it, reached out to me when I was having some medical issues, and I had only met him once. And really that started my journey. So when things started with me in this new journey about 10 years ago, I didn't know a lot about Jesus. I went to church, but I just didn't know a lot. But since then, obviously everything speaks to me, but here's the thing that I love the most is that all of that, every piece of armor except for one is defensive armor. We only have and need one piece of weaponry to fight off the spirit, and that is the Bible. And really that is something that speaks to me every day. If you know the Bible, and I'm not saying memorize it, but if you know it and understand what that Bible is saying, you can actually fight anything off, no matter what it is.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And the sword is such, and And Mike and I talked about that as we were going through that specific piece of armor. And Mike, I don't remember the word that it was in Greek, but there were two types of swords, right? The large
short one for hand to hand,
right? The large wielding
one.
sword, and then there's the short one that's hand to hand, and that's what we're in, man. We're in like hand to hand combat with things that are battling us in this world. Personally am in hand to hand combat on a daily basis with things like just depression and those kind of things that just seep into your mind that Satan, doesn't have the power to force you to feel, but certainly has the manipulation to be able to whisper it into your ear. So understanding and knowing the Bible is incredibly important. Now, you said that you were running from God and that you didn't really know a lot. So for someone that's in that boat right now, what would you say is something that they should consider doing if they're truly seeking, but I don't know where to start? What should I do? How does somebody come to understand and know what the Bible means?
Man, I tell you, 2 years of counseling to pack all that stuff away. In the last session I was in, my counselor told me I can't help you anymore, which threw me off because I had given her permission to throw spiritual and biblical counseling in there, even though it wasn't. But I said, what do you mean? She said, until you quit blaming God for everything bad that happened in your life, there's nothing I can do to help you.
Wow.
And that day, that didn't resonate with me, but that stuck with me. And the more I started thinking of all the things that happened to me, that I was blaming God for those, when in fact, and I use this a lot because I'm also a youth pastor, God may put us in a situation, but God is there to get us out of it. And so if you think of this is something that helps me. You think of a dark tunnel. When you enter that tunnel and the light behind you goes away and it's complete dark in there and you're looking forward and can't see any light, do not lay down. Grab God's hand and allow him to take you to the light. Because if you lay down and give up, then Satan and all his little demons can do whatever he wants. Yeah. But we don't go through things. When you say I went through something, what does that mean? I went through something. We don't get stuck in things.
Right.
But sometimes we need God to guide us to that light, because without him, we can get stuck in that tunnel and we don't have any way or any clue how to get out of it.
Yeah. That's so true. I think a lot of people find themselves exactly in that spot, feeling stuck in darkness, feeling stuck in a tunnel. I read a quote that I saw, I don't know, probably online somewhere. Mike loves when I search social media. But it says that darkness cannot defeat darkness.
Right.
Only light can defeat darkness. And God is the source of that light.
That is.
Mikey, anything to add there in terms of our conclusion of our study in Ephesians and how God just amazingly put EPW right there for us to talk about? Not only fantastic Texas wrestling, but also Ephesians 6.
Well, just going back to something we shared earlier, is that there's nothing, and this is true with the actual Roman armor, there's nothing in there that talks about protecting the soldier's back. And to Kyle's point, when you're in that darkness, obviously you're reaching for the Lord's hand, but it's nice to have a brother or a sister there that can help you up, like it talks about in Ecclesiastes 4.
Yeah.
And I know we're short on time, but you just took something out of my head that I was wanting to add. And as EPWs, we do every Monday night we train. We train twice a week, but on Monday nights we do Bible study. And our commitment to each other is that very thing, because we're not protected in the back, we have to stand together and not let something through to get to our back. And that's what we are. We're brothers and sisters that are hand in hand, side by side, to make sure that if one slips up, that we all can sit there and we can defeat that if something gets through, we're watching each other's back, because we've all got to stand together in the full armor for it to actually work. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, absolutely right. Fans, it's Saturday night Battleground, Saturday night, 6 p.m., starting October 4th, this Saturday night. So tune into that. You know what else you need to tune into? It's The Clash coming up next with Chris Whaley and Jeff Dixon right here on Abundant TV.